Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to explain Gats.io and its genius concept around the game itself. So, for many people that have been playing the game for a long time, usually people they come up with like these kind of ideas like, oh, this weapon is good against the other weapon opponent that does have it, and the AK is good against the sniper. Um, and really, I didn't really wrap myself head around it until just now. Um, and I'm just gonna say right now, just one message to you. I mean, if you know how to use your weapon and you know how to use your power ups, then you definitely know how to play the game. Cause right now, I mean, sure, at the start of the game, you'll probably like end up with almost nothing, but there's a slight between skill and practice that it takes for each one of the weapons to be used. Now, I'm just gonna kind of switch off for a bit so then I can show you this display of screen. Because right now I'm going to show you these weapons right here. Sniper. Sniper is used for distance, long range combat. Everybody knows that. Now, what if the sniper will go against a SMG? Well, the chances are is that sniper can take out the can probably try to take out the SMG if it's very well long range. You see, a SMG, also known as the killing machine, cannot exactly just decide to be able to go straight ahead without a dash or without any power ups, right? So of course, within enhancements, without enhancements, you know, the SMG killer, or should I say the SMG player, would just like completely be removed. As long as the opponent knows how to snipe, of course. Now, what if an SMG was versus against a AK? Again, it really just depends on preferable skill, or should I say, preferable skill that you have. It doesn't really matter if you're playing against a shotgun, if you're using a pistol, although in one of my videos I consider those players to be absolute tryhards, but it wasn't really a serious video anyway, so I'll still roll with it. I'm not trying to take offense to those people out there that do play with pistol. I just did it for memes as my other video last time. Either way, let's just ask what it is. So let's see here. We got a pistol here. What would it do if it were to go against an LMG player? Well, I mean, pistol has more damage, and an LMG can just like shoot 100 bullets. But the pistol player might be a bit more faster, just like trying to move around places. And I mean, LMG, it doesn't really move much, but hey, might have some good accuracy while you're at it. Like, I mean, as I said before, LMG players can be kind of mistaken in some occasions. But what if a shotgun player were to go against, I don't know, maybe pistol? Now, a shotgun is like and a pistol player, when they try to go against each other, it's of course like it's either like you can try to be able to get it like within the shotgun. You can either just kind of hide in and then wait for the pistol player to probably aggressively try to attack you, or number two, you can the pistol player can just wait until the shotgun player decides to be able to try to find its way to its another prey, so then can upgrade its own status. That way, the the pist- the shotgun player can get a dash ability, and I mean, a pistol and a shotgun players, they really do depend on upgrades. And this is what I mean by this, is that, you know, at least for some shotgun players, they can whiff their own shot within just having to use their dash. That's why sometimes there are, as I say, predictable, as I said in my video, even though it was literally meant for meme purposes. Uh, but this is totally out of what I'm really trying to say here. Let's say the SMG goes against a AR player. Now you would say that an AR would win in this situation. Well, I would say yes, but most occasions SMG would really win because, well, I mean, let's think about it here. I mean, I get it. In AK, as long as it shoots bullets from a direction that the SMG may be going, but for the upgrades that the SMG might have, I'm just kind of saying right now, can go close to you. Hey, you know, you name ever know, AR player has a SM, or should I say, a knife pocket. They'd be able to throw it. But what if an SMG decides to dash it? Well, hey, I don't know, man. It depends on how close the SMG player is. Could probably use that dash to be able to whiff through or whiff around that little knife attack that you were trying to do there. Now, I know I said before that when you start off from these weapons, like really it just depends on your skill. And wonder why I say this, and I know it sounds kind of cliche for me to say this, but the weapon that you choose just really depends on your skill. And from throughout each years of GATS.io's lifespan, people have trying to find out at least um, the counter arguments between each one of the weapons. Sniper is better because you can has a long barrel. It can shoot through freaking like cubes and some shit. And it has a lot of damage. Yes, it is true, but its own con though is that it takes a long time for a bolt action to be able to get to another bullet. And secondly, um, a pro about this is of course does a lot of damage. It shoots fast. Goes out very quick. But what about the SMG though? Now the SMG, you know, SMG's players are kind of mistaken, but they're really not as much. And I'm just gonna say, one pro about them is that they move around places. They can quite easily get to the opponents a bit easier. But the con is that it's like its own. If it's trapped, or should I say, if an opponent is really trying to space out the SMG player, then it could have a very bad problem. And depending on an SMG upgrades, the SMG may luckily survive, and that's why that it is the con. Now, I haven't really spoke about the shotgun all that much. Now, I know that I've been a shotgun player, and you see me around everywhere, just be like spinny around, right round, baby, right round. But you know, we're not gonna talk about that. So, firstly, we're gonna talk about the shotgun players, man. And as ridiculous as shotguns players can be, they do have some deeper meaning into these players. First of all, they use a dash only because to get close to their opponent, and wonder why they get close to their opponent so that they can one shot them or one pump them. And it's why that such trend has been going around well, since that GATS.io has really ever been real popular, and people were just like, man, the dash and the shotgun, they go very well with each other. And yes, and I made a video about that topic about the dasher. Man, I was just like, man, what are people gonna think of me on this? And I mean, I don't really know, man. I mean, shotgun players, man, it really just depends on, of course, like the player spacing, and also the way that the player moves as well, or should I say the shotgun player moves. Because if you are try to get the opponent, but you want to be able, but you have to use the dash, well, shit, man, I mean, if that opponent is far away, dude, hey, try your best, Now, LMG players, I would say that LMG players are the most underrated kind of players, and many many of the GATS IO players can agree with this. First of all, it's very slow. Secondly, has a lot of bullets, which is a pro. One condo is very slow though. And many of the classes are, or should I say, all of these classes are not actually slow at all. And if you were to put speed on this, it's just a regular speed of one of these guys. Like, come on, dude. And you can probably find your way out of it. And the only way, really, to just like get an opponent is just defending yourself. It's literally your only chance. But as soon as you may think, heck, maybe some SMG player might come by and just sneak up on you, and that's how easily that LMG players can be defeated now. Now, sure, they can be mistaken, but some players are pro using the LMG, like fucking Jigglypuff and like Melee at the time, um, was so underrated. But not talking about that. This right here, I mean, it does, it does have some potential, but it really doesn't have very much potential when it comes to free for all. And that's why the LMG players are not really roaming around very much. They can be a TDM, they can be a domination, and that I kind of do respect for those kind of players. But for free for all, maybe there is maybe a chance, but there's almost no chance. So I mean, but I would say one thing though. There's at least one player that's figured out how to be able to make LMGs a bit more useful, and of course you have to use a speed upgrade. And when you shoot your LMG, it will noticeably kick back a bit, and using this kind of ability for LMG, you can go faster than maybe as an SMG player would. Now, that was pretty huge. I would say that's kind of huge there, a huge discovery, I would say, but it's not very huge. It's used for boosting, that's all. I mean, you have 100 bullets anyway. Hey, might as well waste some of them. So, I mean, I'm just letting you know, guys. I mean, there's no really such thing as weapon balance change and everything else. It really just comes down to the way you play the game and the way that the game is being played. And I'm just kind of spreading this little message around. I mean, I, I know I know that Mystic and everybody else that tries to figure out this whole yin and yang cycle, or should I say the counter chart, or a way that things can be countered by. And it's pretty looks pretty useful, as I show you the chart, like in the end of the video, of 10 types of players, I looked at it. I was like, oh, this counter this, and I was just like, maybe some experienced players may be able to counter this, that, and I'm just like, man, dude, does it really just come down to the way that you play the game? Just saying right now, it sounds very cliche, but it's true. So, and I'm not trying to bum out players being like, oh man, don't, stop doing this, man. You stop doing this. Why do this? I'm not saying that at all. I'm really not. And I support those people for actually, like, at least making a chart. It kind of takes a lot of work to be able to make such chart like that. So I mean, I'm not trying to bum people out that make those kind of charts like Mystic and all those other players. I kind of enjoy looking at that. Like, it's the beauty of Gats.io, and the beauty of Gats.io having is having a bunch of players play the game and experience themselves. That's the beauty of, I would say, all video games, is that you play it, you discover what things can be countered, or in a fighting game, you get what I mean. And Gats.io is one of them too. And depending on how the game is being played, how the power-ups are arranged, and how power-ups are set, man, it's very cool in the end, once you decide to be able to set yourself up and play the game and just go at it. I really kind of recommend playing this game at least once, because I mean, as much as some players might say, oh, Gats.io, it's not really changing. Well, it is still changing. Just letting you know that right now, it is still changing. It's sure, it's not like, you know, I know it's not really majorly changing, but it's at least changing, because I mean, you got a community of players. You got like a community of players that are really like this game, and I do too. So I mean, I don't see any other problems within the game. I don't think the players see other problems with the game itself. Although there are some players that really think like, this needs to be taken away or whatever. Those kind of players there, but I kind of support the fact that there are some players out there that are just kind of optimistic, or whatever I can call them, or just trying to help the game. So I'm just like, well, the whole thing about Guts.io is having to customize, upgrade it, and compete. It literally says it right here. It says it right here, ladies and gentlemen. Customize, upgrade, and compete. I don't know if you can see my mouse right now. Shit, I actually disabled mouse. Either way, so I hope that you probably enjoy this video and hear my commentary. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be putting any of anything in the background, but hey.